readeth such. However, we speak wisdom amongst those who are mature, yet not the wisdom of this age, nor of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, the hidden wisdom which God ordained before the ages for our glory, which none of the rulers of the age knew. For had they known, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, eye has not seen or ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him. But God has revealed them to us through his Spirit. For the Spirit searches all things, yes, the deep things of God. For what man knows the things of man except the spirit of the man which is in him? Even so, no one knows the things of God except the Spirit of God. And we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, that we might know the things that have been freely given to us by God. I read you 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verses 6 through 12. May the Lord have blessed the hearers, the readers, and most importantly, the doers of his holy word. You may be seated.
Here, bow our heads for a word of prayer, please. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for another opportunity to come into your house of worship, Lord. Help us, oh Lord. Help us, Lord. Have mercy on us, Father God. We want to thank you this morning for your grace and your mercy, Lord. Thank you for all the many blessings you've given us throughout this week, Lord. Thank you for keeping us alive one more day, Father God. Lord, we pray right now in the name of Jesus that you allow us another opportunity to love one another like you've loved us, Lord. Father, we just pray for the word that's going to be given today, Lord God. We pray that it just goes deep in our hearts, Father God. Lord, we need a word on high from you, Lord. Father, remove the preacher, the speaker, whoever's going to bring the word, Lord God, and just give us that word, Lord. Father, we pray for our children that are entering back into school, Father God, from dangers seen and unseen, Lord God. Protect them, Lord God, with your angels of mercy. Lord, we pray for everyone in here today, Lord God. We know there's things on their minds, their hearts, Lord God. Release them right now in the name of Jesus so they can hear from you, Lord. Father, it's not about any of us in here, Father God. And we just pray for your grace and your mercy to abound throughout this service. Your Holy Spirit to just move in a mighty way, Lord. And we'll be careful to give you the praise, honor, and the glory today. In Jesus' name we pray, Father God. Amen. Amen.
Speaking of praying, somebody prayed for me. You know they had me on their mind, and they took the time and they prayed for me. And I'm so glad they prayed. Know that I'm so glad they prayed. Oh, I'm so glad they prayed for me. Somebody prayed for me. You know they had me on their mind, and they took the time and they prayed for me. Well, know that I'm so glad they prayed. You know that I'm so glad they prayed, and I'm so glad they prayed for me. Some preacher prayed for me. You know he had me on their mind, and they took the time and they prayed for me. I know that I'm so glad they prayed. You know that I'm so glad they prayed, and I'm so glad they prayed for me. My mother prayed for me. Bless her heart, now she had me on her mind, and she took the time and she prayed for me. And I'm so me on his mind, and he took the time and he prayed for me. And I'm so glad he prayed, and I'm so glad he prayed, and I'm so glad he prayed for me. Somebody prayed for me. You know they had me on their mind, and they took the time and they prayed for me. And I'm so glad they prayed, and I'm so glad they prayed, and I'm so glad they prayed for me. Amen.
Amen. Give God some praise. Give God some praise. Amen. We can stand for this morning's call to worship. Excuse me, responsive reading. Amen. I'll be the leader. You be the congregation, and we do the last all together. Wherefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
For it is God which worketh in you, both to will and to do his good pleasure.
Do all things without murmuring and disputing,
that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world,
holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Christ, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain.
Yea, and if I be offered up for the sacrifice and service of your faith, I joy and rejoice with you all.
All
For the same cause also do ye joy and rejoice with me.
Amen. Give God some praise. Amen. Amen. At this point, we'd like to acknowledge any guests that's here with us. If you're a guest, can you stand and tell us a little bit about yourself? Amen. But we have a saying here. God loves you. We love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Amen. If you can pay attention to the screens for an announcement.
Good morning, True Spirit. Today is August 12th. My name is Nia, and let's get started on this week's announcements. It's officially back to school season, but you don't have to miss out on Sunday service. You can catch up on live and previous services by searching and subscribing to the channel TSPC Media on YouTube. If you recently joined True Spirit, we have a class just for you, and it occurs every Sunday in the Fellowship Hall starting at 9:30 a.m. For those of you that want to brush up on the Word of God and dive deeper, we also have our Sunday School, which occurs at the same time. On Thursday, August 29th, we will have our church business meeting at 6 p.m. As I said earlier, back to school season is in full swing, and we here at TSBC will be having a back to school giveaway on Saturday, August 31st. There will be free haircuts, shoes, and backpacks at this event, which will occur from 10 to 12 p.m. Donations are still being accepted, and we will want to fill this corner to be a blessing to our community. Looking ahead, we will be having a leader seminar on Saturday, September 21st, starting at 8:30 a.m. All leaders and co-leaders need to be in attendance. Finally, we will be holding an event called Pastor's Corner on Saturday, October 12th, starting at 10 a.m. Registration is $10, and all pastors and ministers are invited to attend. That does it for our upcoming events. Keep up with what's going on with us by searching and liking us on Facebook at True Spirit Baptist Church. Now, here are the rest of your weekly announcements, and remember, God loves you, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it, even if you try. Have a blessed week.
Has he brought you out? You ought to help me say, oh, I will. Yes, I will. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I will. He's been too good for me to just sit in my seat. He made
comfort, strengthen and keep you.
I can go to God in prayer.
I can
call Him
when I need Him. Father,
Father,
up in heaven, I can go to God in prayer. I can go.
to God in prayer.
Sometimes my burdens get so heavy,
I can go to God in prayer.
but I found one who is so faithful.
I can go to God in prayer.
He will take my gloom and sadness.
Turn it into light.
He will comfort, strengthen, and keep me.
I can go to God in prayer.
I can call Him when I need Him. Father, Father, up in heaven, I can go to God in prayer. I can go.
to God in prayer.
Sometimes my burdens get so heavy.
I can go to God in prayer.
Yes, I found one who's so faithful.
I can go to God in prayer.
Oh, He will take my gloom and sadness.
Turn it into light.
He will comfort, strengthen, and keep me.
I can go to God in prayer.
I can call Him when I need Him. Father, Father, up in heaven, I can go to God in prayer. I can go.
to God in prayer.
Oh, He can work it out. He can work it out.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I have no doubt God will work it out.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
He'll lighten up your way each and every day.
Yes, He can.
Oh, yes, He can.
Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I can call Him when I need Him. Father, Father, up in heaven, I can go to God in prayer. I can go.
to God in prayer.
Oh, He can work it out. He can work it out.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
He'll brighten up your way each and every day.
Yes, He can.
Oh, yes, He
Yes,
can.
He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
He'll brighten up your way each and every day.
Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Yes, He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I have no doubt God will work it out.
Yes, He can.
Oh, yes, He
Yes,
can.
He can. Oh, yes, He
Oh,
can.
I can call
I
Him
can call
when
Him
I need
when I
Him.
need
Father,
Him.
Father, up in heaven, I can go
I can
to
go
God in prayer.
God in prayer.
I can go.
I can go to God in prayer.
How many of you know that you can go to God in prayer? Whenever you need Him, all you have to do is call. Sometimes we call God standing straight up, and we need to be on our knees, flat on our face, on our backs before God. But however you call Him, that desperate call for God, He hears us when we call. This is altar call. If you would come to the altar at this time and bring all of your burdens and leave them here. In addition to the prayer requests that are listed, if we could please keep Minister Greer in prayer. Our college students, as the parents are depositing their precious little angels into various cities in this United States, please keep them in prayer as they travel back to rejoin us, and keep the children lifted up. That everything that has been deposited in them at home, they will demonstrate in college. Let us go to God and pray. Oh, our Heavenly Father, we come this morning because you are such a great God. You are such an awesome God. You are such a loving God. You are such a forgiving God. God, how we adore you, how we bless your holy name. God, we lift you up high above every circumstance and every situation. God, we thank you, we bless you. We say hallelujah to your name. God, how we love you. Thank you. We're so grateful that you chose us. Not because we've been so good, not because we've done everything right, but you chose us anyway. For that, we thank you, God. Lord, we ask that you forgive us, God. For all the things that we have said that are not like you, the things that we have done that are against your will and your way, God. Forgive us. And God, thank you. Because you said if we come asking for forgiveness, you are faithful and just to forgive us. And for that, we thank you. And we know that it is done, God. We have to receive the forgiveness, Lord. And oh God, we come lifting up True Spirit Baptist Church, God. We have turned over another page, God. 25 years we celebrated on last week, God. And today we march forward, God, in you. Knowing that everything that we do has to be in you. Not in our will, but in your will, God. Because when we surrender it to you, God, you can do great and mighty things in us, through us, with us, collectively and individually. And oh God, we just bless your holy name for what you are about to do in us, God. God, the eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what you are about to do in the True Spirit Baptist Church, God. God, not only in our church, God, but in the churches, in the community, in our state, and in our nation, God. We lift them up right now in the name of Jesus, that we will be about your will and your way, because there's only one church. We're just deposited in different areas, God. God, help us to be about ministry. God, we just thank you and we bless you, God. We thank you for those who came to the altar this morning, God. You know every request. God, we ask that you grant it in the name of Jesus. God, we ask that sickness, God, we just bind sickness right now in the name of Jesus. And we release healing in the name of Jesus. God, we ask that you would touch them individually in a very special way, that they can run a little faster, run a little longer, God. What can they do to do more for you, God? God, and those that chose not to come to the altar, God, we lift them up in a very special way. God, you know their hearts right now in the name of Jesus. God, we just lift up the preach word that's going to come forth, God. Yes. Lord, God, just let it come forth with precision and power, that it can cut through every trick of the enemy, God, in our minds and our hearts, God. God, we just thank you for the man of God that you have sent to us to breathe into us new life, God, and an excitement about ministry, God. Thank you for him, God. God, we just cover him in the blood of Jesus from the top of his head to the sole of his feet, God, and his wife that stands by his side, God. Oh, God, we just cover them. God, we just thank you for them, God. God, we just thank you for the music that has come forth and the music that is to come, God, that works on our hearts and to loosen up our hearts, God, that we could become receptive to the word, God. God, we just thank you for the ministry of music. God, we just thank you, God, for today. We don't know what tomorrow holds, God, but we just thank you for today. God, we just lift up the prayers. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Has God been good to you?
Oh, yes.
Has God been good to you? Give God some praise this morning. Give him some praise. Not a pity pat, but give him some praise this morning. Did he wake you up this morning and start you on your way? And he's keeping you in your right mind. Give God some praise this morning. Amen. For waking us up, giving us life, giving us breath, breathe. Amen. Amen. Giving us the thing to move our arms and move our limbs and to be able to get out and get in the car to come to the church house. Has God been good to you? Amen. 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 I just praise God because the past week I couldn't even get up and walk on. But God. But God. That old gout had me. That old gout had me tied up. But God. Amen. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. Amen. Come on now. Amen. 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 This is our oratory period. It's a time that you can give back a portion of what God has given you. Eternal God, our Father, we thank you right now for all that you can do, that you do, and all that you are. In Jesus' name. Amen. Not hands of the deacons and the ushers. Amen. But God, but God, but God, but God.
Blessings and glory and honor, they all belong to you. Thank you, Jesus, for blessing me.
Eternal God, our Father, we come before you saying thank you. Thank you for all that you do and all that you are. Father, we ask that you bless this offering upkeep of your kingdom, Father. Thank you for those who gave and those who didn't have it, Father. Just give you the praise and the honor for you being God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
victories we've won. I could go on and on about your word, because I'm grateful, grateful, so grateful just to praise you, Lord. Flowing from
God and Father, it's preaching time. Songs have been sung, gifts have been given. Now, God, we need a word from on high. Hide me behind the throne, oh God. Let them see your image upon me. Let them hear your voice through me. Let this word fall on fertile soil and disrupt stony ground. So now, Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, I praise you, give you all glory and adoration because you're my strength. And Lord, we love you because you're our Redeemer. And the household of faith said, amen. Come on, let's give God a hand clap of praise. For it's in him that we move and have our being. Without him, we are nothing. We're grateful to be in the land of the living. While you're standing with your manuals of life, if you would turn with me to Proverbs chapter 3. Promise you I won't be before you long. Proverbs chapter 3, commencing at verse number 5. There you'll find just 4 simple words. If you're there, say amen. If you're looking, shout out Bible study. We don't discriminate, amen. 4 simple words. Trust in the Lord. You may be seated. Trust in the Lord. I would ask that you would help me preach on the subject, the topic this morning. Trust in God. Amen. Our Proverbs, we know as the area of the Bible that gives us instructions on how to live a productive and prosperous life. Proverbs looked at and believed to be one of the books of wisdom that we must travel down the roads of the Holy Writ to get the basic instructions before leaving earth. Proverbs is one of the most essential and the most effective books in the Bible. Why? Because it explains some things that we must know about life. Proverbs, we know, is Solomon's writing. We've been told and taught that is Solomon's writing, who is the son of David. And in Proverbs, you can understand Solomon's writing because he had turned his heart against God. So he writes to the land of those that still exist, that we often too turn our hearts away from God. So many times that we turn our hearts so far away that we lose focus and we lose direction. How do I know it? Because some of us have forgotten how good he's been. So when others speak to you, you don't speak. When others tell you that they love you, you won't even say it back. Some of us won't even shake hands or extend the hand of olive, which means the hand of love and purity, just to let you know that I'm here, I love you, and I acknowledge who you are. We've lost focus. Proverbs, we know, is connected to Solomon, but it is known as Solomon being the wisest man that ever walked the face of the earth. Because the Bible declares there's none like Solomon. But there are many people that perceive and portray to act like Solomon. Though they walk around, they may have understanding of the word, but yet they don't have understanding of life. Though they walk around, they can quote a scripture, but they won't tell you what the Bible truly lives, or they won't live what the Bible truly says. We do have a lot of Bible toters and scripture quoters, but we don't have real Bible livers. those that are living according to the word of God. Proverbs, the known book of wisdom, it was known as a literature for the people of Israel. They made it their heritage and the culture in which they live. And my brothers and sisters, we have fallen away from Proverbs because no one wants to hear how to live your grown life. No one wants to hear how to be productive in your grown living. No one wants to live how to be prosperous in your lifestyle in which you feel you have arrived because you've made it to a certain point and a certain standard. But Solomon says you have to remember Proverbs, because it's in Proverbs is where you find out how a man and a woman should walk. In fact, Proverbs recognizes three classes of people that seek for counseling. There's the fool, there's the simple, and there's the scorner. Chapter 1, verse 22 talks about it. Says, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorner delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. We seek to read Proverbs to get assistance in a way of bettering ourselves. But Solomon digs a little deeper. He tells us that it's basically that you're wasting time dealing with those that are scorners. He digs deeper by saying that when you're seeking direction, you may be surrounded by scorners. You know, when the average person is looking for the simplest way to live, there's always some scorners around them. Watch this. And we know that we're in the midst of some fools and scorners. We all have foolish thoughts, but a scorner takes things a little deeper. And as I was plucking through this text in this pericope, I thought about some things, because yesterday morning when I was digging some weeds out of the rocks at the house, and I found out that those weeds were so easy to pull up. And the Lord showed me that there are some people that's not truly rooted in the word. But there are some weeds and some bushes that you have to really do some digging to take the roots from around which it is connected to. And sometimes the scorners are those who you deal with that show you that they think they got God, but they really don't know God. Am I talking to somebody today? But we also have some that are tied with the scorners with the foolish thoughts. That's why the scorners take things a little deeper. They speak it out as if it's law. And so what they tend to do is then, now watch this, they dig so deep, they become such scorners where they confuse people with their verbiage and their opinion. Proverbs says in 9 and 8, Solomon tells us, he says, it's a waste of time to talk to the scorner, to show him the error of his ways. Why? Because they already got their mind made up. And I found out it's hard to teach scorners in the church today. Those are the ones that feel like they don't have to continue to get instructions to live a productive life because you've reached an area or a golden moment in your years of living. I mean, we get in our luxurious 20s and our fantastic 30s, and we still feel like we don't need to get educated by the word of God. But then we'll get in our fabulous 40s and our fantastic 50s, 60s, and 70s and feel like because we've lived this life to the fullest, there's nothing else that can be told to me because I've been living longer than the one that's telling it. Y'all ain't with me this morning. And sometimes you got to take those foolish thoughts and deposit them into a man that can change your life by trusting God. I know some of y'all being scorners right now. You're looking at me saying that that's his law, but that's the Bible. Because the Bible says you must study to show thyself approved, a workman need not ashamed, to rightly divide the word of truth. And the situation that's become in the church, we got too many people that don't want to study. How, Pastor, you don't come to Bible study, you don't come to Sunday school, and yet you're not listening in worship service. So Solomon says it's a waste of time to expose your errors. But he also says for those that are looking to better yourself, you got to learn to trust in God. Because there's some people that will try and mess up your way of thinking. while you're trying to get direction. Do I have a witness this morning? So as we look at this manual, we look at this text that Solomon gives us. Watch this. He shows us in the first scripture of his writing that moral teachings is imparted in your heart. Because in the text it says right there, my son, do not forget my love, but your heart keep my commandments. Your moral teachings should be impacted or imparted in your heart. And it's through the experiences that you have experienced in your life before you came to God. And you do know there are some people that come to church and they don't want no one to know that they've been through some stuff. We have arrived and we've gotten on holy ground and forgot that we once lived on the ground of destruction. And so then here it is, Solomon reminds us in Proverbs, as he did in Deuteronomy 8, when he talked to the children, he says, when the commandment is given, the do's and don'ts were to pass down so you can give them to the next generation. Now watch this. When you are in your wilderness period, you still won't forget what you've been taught. I wish I had some church, born-bred Baptist believers that can remember what they told you even though you were going through your struggle, that God is and God will always be the center of your source and provider and director to everything that you need in life. Somebody shout out, trust in God. And truth be told, many of us have forgotten what has been imparted in us. So then it's difficult to follow the commandments in which we were been taught. And so then that's why we should be grateful for Jesus, because many of us would have died for being disobedient. And some of us still are dying in spirit. After all you've been through, after everything you've experienced, yet you can't put a smile on your rusty face. You can't put a smile in your spirit to say, Lord, I thank you for where you brought me from. I thank you for what you brought me through. Lord, I thank you because you're about to bring me out. I struggle, and I'm still struggling today with saints that can't find it in their spirit to speak to people when they speak to you, or can't find it within themselves to be courteous and humble to folk that's been courteous and humble to you. Ain't always been saved. You ain't always been right. Matter of fact, some of y'all been bad last night. But thanks be to God, he gave us another day through his grace and his mercy. You shouldn't just sit there and act like you don't know him. You ought to be grateful that he did forget about you. Yeah, so you got to remember the things imparted in your heart. So then now he tells us in Deuteronomy 8, then you can still be blessed. I've come to this realization that some people just don't like to be blessed. Yeah, you just don't like to be blessed, because if you like to be blessed, then you'll be obedient to what was told to you. Look at somebody and say, I like blessings. Yeah, but not only did he share that with us before we get to verse 5, but he even shares at verse 3, he says, one's morality should reflect the compassion of God. Your morality should reflect the compassion of God. Right there it tells us, let not the mercies and truth forsake you. Bind blind then around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Be mindful that throughout your struggle, he'll never forsake you. And he'll allow you to experience some things so that now he'll let you know that he'll never let you walk alone. I believe it was Moses in Deuteronomy 31 telling Joshua, be of good courage. The Lord will never leave you nor forsake you. Everybody want to jump to that part of the scripture. But if you look at the character, you saw two men encouraging one another. And the problem is when people are struggling, no one wants to encourage one another. So then, therefore, your morality should reflect the compassion of God, because the Bible says in the New Testament how God looked among them and had compassion on them as if they had no shepherd, which meaning that he had compassion on them even though they were out there and looked like they didn't have no sense of direction. Your child ain't the only one that's been a knucklehead. There's some knuckleheads in the church that don't have a sense of direction, but yet you got to put your hand of love, your compassion of love upon those that don't know which way is up. Your morality should reflect the compassion. Watch this. We don't have compassion. And we're so quick to allow our fellow brother to walk alone. I lay it in this form. We have many people in our city that's feeling lonely. We got many families that's lonely and despair. And my struggle is, and I know I'm one, I try to get it done as soon as it's needed to be done. My struggle is that we as Christians, we respond, watch this, with a late response. We don't respond at the word of God when it is given to us. Now, let me put it like this. I'll pause it in this capacity. About a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you how the Lord showed me how we need to take care of our brothers and sisters and how we need to bless our community. But yet, I see the wall half full. You'll miss that. You'll catch that later on. Some of us have deposited in our mind that if it's not my child, who other child do I need to help? I'm trying to help somebody. Sometimes your greatest blessing is in helping somebody else. Mama always prayed for you because she knew you didn't have no sense of direction. Somebody should be shouting because not just mama, but the big people of the church, the prayer warriors, prayed for you when you were lost in sin. You didn't have money to buy clothes for your children, shoes for your child, things to put on the table to eat. But I thank God that he didn't give up on me. He gave me something that's called love. That means I learned to love everybody, such as I have been loved. And I give to those that are in need, because the Bible says the lesser of them is what you do to me. Our morality should reflect the compassion of God. Watch this. So then watch this. We should be willing to lead someone to the Savior. Trusting in God, we have to be able to lead them to somebody we trust in. And truth be told, because we don't see it, we don't trust it. How can you love me whom you don't see? But yet and still you lie and say you love your brother. And that's a little Greerology in there. Who you say you see daily. And the problem is we have no compassion for God's people. So now we have a church that's half saved and half lost. And now they're seeking for direction. Might I drop this on you? That you must trust in God. Because when you put your trust in God, I'm a living witness. God will never leave you nor forsake you. He'll never fail you. God can do all things but fail. But watch this. Your favor is found through the love you extend in man. Look at verse number 4. If you still got your Bibles open. And so found favor and high esteem in the sight of God and man. Yeah, y'all just missed the shout cue. Sometimes your greatest covering is a recall of how you covered someone else when they were struggling. Where's my redeemed saints? Can I lay it like this and I'm going to get out your way? 1 Peter 4 says, above all, Love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sin. Now, this word deeply means when it hurts. Let me say that again. This word deeply means when it hurts. And we have to understand as Christians, you got to love your neighbor when it hurts. Okay. You got to love them even though they backbite, they lie, they steal and grab at you. It hurts. And you got to love them while they're going through the struggle, because you ain't always been a good person either. And the thing is that many of us should shout, because here it is. God has loved you deeply in all of your hurt that you've hurt him with. Y'all, did you catch that? I wish I had some sinners that don't mind saying, Reverend, I've done a lot of sinning. In fact, I'm sinning right now. I ain't really paying attention to you right now. But I do thank God for his grace and mercy that he spared upon my life, that he allowed me to still breathe the breath of life. So then here it is. Watch this. So then now, if you jump down to verse 10 of Peter chapter 4, watch this. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. So then, therefore, you are not only mandated to trust God, you're mandated to trust the people, to serve the people of God. I had a foolish thought. Foolish thought. Can I give y'all my foolish thought? But I'm not a scorner. There are people that feel like they do not have to serve God's people. Y'all certainly not in true spirit. But there are people, watch this, and this ain't no fetish. There are people that feel like they don't have to serve the man of God. I know some of you. Let me get some of you foolish. Let me abstract some foolish thoughts. The people of God must be served, because the people of God are focusing on discipleship. And when Jesus and the disciples were at the table, they were arguing about who was at the table, but forgot the purpose of being at the table. So then Jesus had to give an example and say, now watch this. I didn't come to be served. I came to. So when I leave, I want you to do the same thing. And some of us act like God is still here, but he left a spirit, but we've been commanded to serve one another. Now let me lay it in your lap about serving the leader. The Bible says that you must give honor to the one that's preaching the gospel, but you also should give double honor to the one that's giving the doctrine. I wish I had some Bible readers. And some people can't shout because you say he's just a mere man. But when God has blessed the man of God, it's your job to serve him. How? Be a good leader. Be a good student. Be a good servant of other people in your presence, and be a part of the vision. That stops some of your negative thoughts. I didn't ask you to feed me. I need you to follow me. Look at somebody and say, he talking to you. Yeah, he. Some of y'all still ain't looked at your neighbor. That lets me know there's some issues going on. And the choir just got done singing the issues flowing from the issues, or from my heart are the issues. And the problem is you are the issue. You become your own issue because you want to keep creating problems. But when you learn to turn it all over to Jesus, how many know when you give it to the Lord, one thing about it, God will take care of everything. That's cool. I wish I had some people that can rejoice and say he gave it, he took it, and he'll receive it. He'll do it all in the name of his son, Jesus Christ. So then, here it is, and I'm going to get out your way. I'm just going to give you one. The first thing in Proverbs 3 and 5, in order to trust in God, you must be committed. There must be a commitment. The text says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. You still got your Bible open? There must be a commitment that you can be entrusted, or there must be a commitment that you entrust all of your hope and values, seeking God for a providential direction. You cannot be a temporary Christian, coming to God only when you need something. You have to be a Christian that's committed through the thick and the thin. Watch this. Isaiah said it like this, that when you give it to God, you know that he'll handle your burdens, because in Isaiah chapter 9, he says, for unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulders, and we shall call him Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. But David said, if you want your past and your issues to come past you and leave you alone, Psalms 37 says, commit thy ways unto the Lord. Trust in him and he shall bring it to pass. And there ought to be some people that's willing to shout today that say, I gave it to the Lord because I didn't want it to affect my future. But I thank God that he didn't let my past stop my future and my presence and my prosperity in moving forward. I wish I had somebody that could say, Reverend, I'm so glad that it was God's love that lifted me from my past. Now I'm pressing towards the mark of my future, which is in Christ Jesus. So you can appreciate Scripture when it says many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of it all. So my brothers and sisters, in my closing, because I'm not going to hold you long, because I'm not dumb, I'm wise, that when preaching of instruction go forth, people shut down on you. But in my years of wisdom, I found out that that's why I don't preach for people. I preach in the obedience of the calling of Jesus Christ. That after the word of God goes forth, God will be pleased with my service. Can I get a witness today? I don't know who has put their trust in God. But if I could just take a poll of all the trusting believers in the house, can somebody tell me that, Reverend, through danger seen and unseen, through it all, I trust in the Lord. Why? Because he has made a way for me. Ain't the Lord all right? But if I can get one, and I'll make two that can say, Reverend, I trust in God in everything that I do, because my God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can think or imagine. And that's the word of God. But can I get somebody that can testify with me, that can say, Reverend, I've been through the fire, I've been through the flood, I've had heartaches and I've had pain, but the Lord has always been by my side, because he promised me that he'll never leave me nor forsake me. Is there anybody here that can testify, Reverend, I've been sick, so sick, I was about to die, but God laid his stripes of healing upon my body? Do I have somebody that can testify with me and say, he's a doctor in the sick room, he's a lawyer in the courtroom. He's a lawyer that's never lost a case. He's a doctor that's never lost a patient. Is there anybody here that can say, I'm trusting in Jesus? I'm trusting in the Lord. If you're trusting in Jesus and you're trusting in the Lord, just slip your hands up and say, I'm trusting in the Lord, because he did it all on Calvary. One Friday, they took him on the cross. They hung him high. They stretched him wide. How many know he died? Didn't he die? But that ain't the end of the story. All day Friday, all night Friday, all day Saturday, all night Friday, Saturday night, he trusted the word of his Father. He got up early Sunday morning with power in his hand, power of heaven and earth. You can walk right when you trust God. You can live right when you trust God. You can pray right when you trust God. You can shout right when you trust God. Anybody know God will make a way out of no way? Are you trusting him today? I got a question I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to get to my seat. Ain't he all right? Have you tried him? High five somebody and tell them, neighbor, I'm trusting in God. Through danger seen, I'm trusting in God. Through troubles in my life, I'm trusting in God. Why? Because God will. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Somebody say, yeah. Trust in God. Trust in God. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. If you trust him, come on, let's celebrate him right now.